Want you to tell us who we are sitting with today.
My name is Godfrey Emoja. People call me Mkubwa, and I am the managing director of Talent Industry Limited and the organizer of an event called the East Africa Poetical Battle.
Introduce to us talent industry and East Africa political battle. What are they?
Talent Industry is a creatives company based here in Kisumu, founded in the year 2014. It was founded with the specific objective of creating entertainment an entertainment industry and basically just generating value out of entertainment for the creatives in this region. So that is the reason as to why we came up with the Poetic Hour as one of the products under talent industry to be able to spark the conversation on the creative economy in this region and not just spark the conversation but to be able to equip the young talented artists from this region with all the skills that they need to be able to monetize their talents and earn a living out of their talents.
Quite interesting. Let me ask you, how did you find yourself in the art space? What inspired you to be in the art space or in the industry?
Well, that should be the inborn talent in me to be able to just take on the stage and wear entertaining characters from way back in primary school. By the time I was in high school, I knew this is what I wanted to pursue and what I wanted to do. So, finishing high school, it was all about just getting my niche and thriving from there. Yes.
Any did you partake any art activities in high school?
Yes. Any, all.
All. Oh, you are the ones who will go for every art activities.
Oh my goodness, we were those people whom when everyone was being sent home for school fee, we were retained in school as a punishment because we were so good at acting, doing narratives, poetry, and performance. So during first time, we were there in drama festival, and second time, we were there in music festivals and doing performing the solo verses, choral verses to the extent that we were actually training our peers. Yes.
Being where you are in the industry, in the art industry, and as you're talking about performing in the arts in high school, did anybody specific have a role to play in your journey through the industry through arts?
Yes, there have been a lot of people who held my hand through my journey, and one specific person whom I'd love to highlight is Madam Maggie. This teacher was so amazing in terms of just encouraging me to pursue what I wanted to do, showing me the direction in terms of writing and executing my poetry, and basically just availing that space for me to practice my creativity. Yeah.
We know East Africa Political Battle happens yearly, every year. What has been your impact so far, or what do you feel has been the impact of East Africa Political Battle?
I think East Africa Poetical Battle has validated the space of poetry in the entire East African region. For the longest time, the source of entertainment that we've all been accustomed to and knowing has been the music, that is the music sector. But for the poetry sector, it's been a subtle form of entertainment for a certain clique, but we've been able to, the East Africa Political Battle platform has been able to amplify this voice to an extent that we do have poets from around East Africa coming to Kisumu just to share and celebrate the poetic space that we have around, and basically just being able to give that voice to poetry. I'll give you an example of the spaces where the place where we found poetry and where we are right now. When we were getting into the poetry space, we were that place where artists used to walk and come for rehearsals on a daily basis.
Yeah.
We didn't have people who appreciated poetry as a form of entertainment. It was a foreign phenomena. While starting, we started from that level of being able to get publicized poetry as a form of entertainment, and we didn't care about the money. But right now, we have grown to that level where we have poets such as Odalo performing at the Africa Media Festival 2024. and just getting to the main stage and showcasing a brilliance and being paid for that. Other poets who've been able to excel from this space, we do have Heidi Mysteries Henga, we have Felicity Moody's who just performed recently in Nairobi, and these are acts that we are actually exporting from the space that Poetic Hour has created.
Um, you have seen the change in the industry. You being specifically in the poetry industry, you have talked about the successes it had so far. What are like the challenges you would say are there majorly in the industry?
The challenges we still have to date is we haven't gotten to that level of full monetization of the craft. We have the base of poetry is so wide, but right now at least we are having a few poets shooting up from the
Mm-hmm.
ground and being able to get that recognition. But the base is wide, very wide, and we still have a lot of work to do in terms of now converting these act from passion now to being an employer. Yes.
Being the vision bearer, what are the lessons you've learned, or what are the lessons East Africa Political Battle has made you learn that have really opened your eyes, has improved your creativity, and has made you rethink some of the decisions you always have?
I think the greatest lesson that we've learned for the 10 years that we've been doing this has been consistency and patience pays a lot. If you remain consistent in what you're doing, and if you remain patient, keep doing it and remain patient. Um, Out of nowhere, you will see doors starting opening up. You opening up to partners who are interested in the craft, who are interested in investing in the craft. Out of nowhere, you'll start getting your voice from one person to multitudes of people. So that has been the greatest lesson that we have learned all through the 10 years. That is patience and
And
consistency.
consistency.
Yes.
What is the vision um, for East Africa Political Battle? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Where do we see ourselves in the next 5 years? Two main things.
Mhm.
One, being able to create that space where every artist who calls themselves poets can be able to monetize and generate income from their craft. That is one. Two, we see ourselves creating that platform for the entire African continent and getting the entire African continent coming over to East Africa to participate in the East Africa political battles. So that is where we see ourselves in the next 5 years.
Do you think audiences currently are understanding now poetry, or they're getting to understand and really take in poetry?
Yes, we do. Last year we had a totally sold out venue, mind blowing. Totally sold out venue at the Sarova Imperial Hotel during the East Africa Political Battle. That doesn't happen for an act such as poetry. It might happen for music and theater and other genres, but
Yeah,
for poetry, that
that's
was
why.
yes,
Why
yes.
do you think that has happened? What have you done to make poetry be so accepted in the region and
I
even?
think just going back to the previous answer, consistency, just being able to do that craft over and over again, getting the curiosity, building the audience from a curious audience to a paying audience and an audience that wants to affiliate with the poetry space.
It's not easy to get here where you are. I know you've said you've faced challenges, there've been the hurdles, but you're still keeping on. What keeps you going, even on hard days? Like you might be planning the event and you feel like this time round it's not coming through. What still keeps you going? What keeps you positive?
What keeps me going, I believe it's my purpose. I've always believed that the reason as to why I was put in this space is to be able to be the bridge between the talented artists and their dreams. So that purpose always, that is always my anchor whenever you feel like I'm giving up, whenever you feel like it's getting hard. We can do it no more. Remember the reason as to why we are doing it in the first place. Yeah.
What is the one thing artists struggle with, and how do you think it can be addressed?
Um, uh, I think the biggest thing, this thing has happened in phases. When we were coming into the industry, the biggest thing that artists were struggling with was drugs and substance abuse. It was crazy. And over time, the challenge of drugs and substance abuse right now in the art industry, it is not it is not that
as it used
rampant
to.
as it used to be. I think right now what artists are really struggling with is professionalism
Okay.
in their craft. That is the one thing that I feel they're really struggling with. Yes, the talent is there, but how then do we professionalize this and make it a career? That is the biggest missing link and the biggest thing that artists are struggling with.
Branding, packaging.
All that element, prof- put it under professionalism. That is, how do I manage my time? How do I stay self-disciplined? How do I brand myself? How do I package myself? How do I sell my product?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. How do you think this can be addressed?
This can be addressed in a very simple manner.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be able to create art as a profession. Like just the same way after high school, people go to schools to study medicine. They go to school to study engineering. They go to school to study education. How about art? We finish school and we don't have an option, and then I think naweza jaribu kuwa msanii. Yeah, hapo ndo mahali penye shida iko. Mm.
Do you think some people, I know the others who might fall into art because maybe the other side has
Mm.
not worked
Mhm,
out?
mhm.
What's your thought on that?
That is the majority.
Mm.
Actually, that is the majority. And in Uganda, they were calling them the artists of the trenches. That is the term that they were giving them.
Mm-hmm.
There were professional artists who go to school to study,
Mm.
and they are
Craft.
writing pieces and teaching it in school. And then there are poets of the trenches. And McHugh, these are the most talented. When it comes to talent, it can't be it can't be matched, like literally. But then again, now we need to be able to look into ways of balancing the trenches. Sorry for adopting that term, and the professional side. Can we be able to create spaces where artists can come and learn a few things in terms of branding and management? Can we have the artists themselves be able to sacrifice some coins to pursue a short course in, let's say, marketing or branding or sales or entrepreneurship and stuff like that? Yeah.
But I think we knew each other from way long, kitambo sana.
Hmm.
I've seen the poetry space grow. I mean, I was a poet myself, and I've seen you give chances to youths, to people who had awesome voices but didn't have a platform. You have given them that. Maybe if you think they are to describe you, or if we are to ask them what do they think of Godi, what do you think they'll say about you?
I'd be interested to see what they say about me.
What do you think they will say? You know them. What do you think they'll say? You interact with them daily.
Um, um, I won't know what they would say,
Hmm.
but I'd be interested to see what they would say.
You're
So,
interested.
so I'd leave it to you to find these artists and bring them down and ask them that question. And I'd be interested to sit down and watch on next medium
Hmm.
and see what they say about Goody.
Talking of that, tell us about East Africa Political Battle this year. What are we looking forward to? Yeah, talk to us about it.
Wow. East Africa Poetical Battle 2024 is being held at the Sarova Imperial Hotel, and this time round we are hosting the event under the theme of capitalizing creativity, where we don't just want to have a space of entertainment, but we want all the poets to come down. Let's have conversations so now we can be able to generate income from our craft as poets. That is the icing on the cake on this. What to expect, especially for the Kisumu audience and the Kenyan audience at large.
Hmm.
Dear Nairobi, Kampala is coming down in a big way. They are creating caravans and they're coming. Please turn up, show up, come over. It's going to be massive and big. I have had the privilege of seeing some of the poets who've submitted. So far, we have 120 submissions. And oh my goodness, the level of creativity and the level of talent this year is mind blowing. So it is um, a call to everyone. Turn up. We have such an amazing year of poetry to experience this year.
You just came back from a workshop from Kampala.
Yes.
How was it?
It was awesome. Makio, it was the first time that we had poets sit down to talk about poetry. Not to come and perform, no. We left the performing. Okay, there was the performing bit at the tail end.
Mm-hmm.
But the entire day, poets sat down to speak about their craft, to speak about the things that ail them, the things that have caused them to be stagnant, to talk about the money bit of it all. Where is the money? How can we be able to tap into the spaces where the money is and generate income out of our creativity? And the feedback that we had from the poets was um, we have never experienced such a thing, and we can't wait to adopt what you guys have brought and do it by ourselves. So we intend to carry on this conversation, even in the absence of the East Africa political battle, to its conclusion and see how we can be able to monetize our creativity. And to me, that was the biggest success. Yes.
You are speaking to youths, one of our audiences. Is there something you'd like to tell them? Those who want to be in the poetry space, those who have not yet found a platform, and those who are giving up performing, what would you like to tell them?
To everyone who's in the poetry space and who are doing practicing their craft, be consistent, be patient, find mentors, talk to them, look out on their journey. What is it that they went through? Learn from their experiences, but most importantly, learn from their mistakes too. Yes.
Very important. Huh. Well put, well said. What will be your parting shot to our audience?
My parting shot to all of you. The East Africa Political Battle is not my event; it is our event. Let's own it. There is something for everyone. Let's keep pushing for it. Let's grow the creative space together. If poetry succeeds in this region, music will succeed, dance will succeed. We are all integrated and we all need each other.
Well said, well put. Thank you so much for joining us in this session, for coming through. We are really happy to have your voice, and we look forward to even hearing what the feedback that will come from this, so that we can equally follow and see what people are saying about it all.